Hello and welcome to the review of Dragon Ball Super episode 23 in the books, as they say. And before we begin, I want to make a thank you to everybody last week who I've had 38 views within 8 hours of my video being uploaded last week. It was a really nice little surprise. So I want to thank you all for helping me get so many views so quickly within even a day. It took a day for the last review to get even that close, and I'm thankful for it. So let's get right into it. This review is quite impressive. Okay, so this episode was quite impressive. The review hopefully is impressive. But this, I want to mention, this Resurrection of Frieza event is already a lot more, I want to say, daring, a lot more at stake. Because in this episode, at the very beginning, if you remember last episode, Piccolo jumped in front of a death beam to save Gohan's life, just like in the past when Gohan was a child. And in this episode, at the beginning, it is confirmed that Piccolo is indeed dead. Trunks even says that he doesn't sense his ki anymore. This is quite different than the movie. In the movie, there seemed like there was no threat to Frieza being back. Nothing was lost. Nothing impressively terrible happened to anybody. It was just, okay, Frieza came back. He was bad. He did a bad thing here and there, but everything's fine. Let's go and have a party. This time, Frieza has killed somebody. Like, Frieza's been more ruthless in this version of the Resurrection of F arc, which is a good thing for his character, and he kills somebody in this episode. I also want to mention, I find it kind of funny and kind of messed up at the same time. Everybody's like, oh God, Piccolo. And Jacko's just like, I don't know what everybody's doing. I don't really care. He's just like, I told you guys it's dangerous. You should listen to me. I gotta get out of this Earth thing. And then Bulma gets mad. But I thought that was funny. But yeah, Frieza has already killed somebody, and it's impressive that it's changed so much. So then we move on to seeing Vegeta and Goku fight. Now you may be wondering, do we find out anything about this mysterious other world that they've been sent to? Not in this episode, not right now. Beerus is eating pizza just like in the movie, and he loves it. He wants more, but he ate all of it. Whis can't get him more because the more is in the staff. And the staff is busy holding them in that other dimension. Beerus, of course, wanting pizza and wanting it now, being the god of destruction, the spoiled brat that he is. Don't tell him I said that. He commands Whis to get him back. And Whis even goes as far to mentions, like, somebody wanted to get them off of the planet, and so I moved them. And then Beerus is like, well, my food is more important. Give me the pizza now. So what brings Goku and Vegeta back from this mysterious world where they're training? Pizza. Beerus' need for pizza is why they come back. So they're back, and we find out at this point Whis apparently has healing properties. Who would have known? Whis has never been shown to have healing properties to my knowledge, but he is the living sensu bean, I suppose. He's the better version of Dende. And so the pizza was, turns out, eaten by Vegeta and Goku. We had a hilarious scene of Beerus chasing the two. It was great. And so he chases them, and he's like, how dare you? You eat my pizza. And it's like, Vegeta's like, it's your fault. You're the one that made us go in there. What do you expect? He's like, oh, how dare you blame me? How dare you talk to the god of destruction like that? And that leads into and that leads into Whis getting the message from Bulma where he wants a parfait. They don't know at this point that the world is in danger, but they want that parfait. And then they finally talk to Bulma, well, Whis does, and she explains to him everything. And then, kind of similar to the movie, we go on to where it's like, we need you here. And they have another flashback scene, which is taken from old footage after, well, in my sub, Bulma calls Frieza an asshole. I don't really think that's what she said in Japanese, but probably called him a jerk of some sort. But Goku recollects Frieza, and while he's doing that, they show old footage, which a lot of people are getting bothered by. I personally don't have an issue with it if they stick to it. I have an issue with them changing from one to the other, because episodes before this, they redrew the footage. Then they went back to showing old footage. Then they redrew some things and kept the original of other things. It was just, I just want consistency as far as I'm concerned. That's what is bothering me. If you're going to use old footage, totally fine. Do it. Even though it is completely different animation and it doesn't really look as correct with this series, I would rather you just do that and stick with it. Don't do that, then go with new animation, then go back to old animation. It's whiplash. Just give us one or the other. You want to stick with old, stick with the old. I prefer it if you made a new one, but I understand if you can't. Anyway, Goku has to make instant transmission happen. It's at this point. Oh, I should also mention this episode uses a lot of zoom in, zoom out footage as we zoom in and zoom out when Piccolo is dead, as we zoom out when things are going down, as we zoom out and we zoom out more, we see freaking Frieza and all the useless soldiers around him still to this moment that are doing absolutely nothing. We'll get to them in a minute. Trust me. Gohan decides that he is going to do something. Now let's cut this down for a minute. I want to talk about this. Something very interesting happens to Gohan in this episode that I hope leads to more. Gohan goes on to say that if only he was stronger, if he hadn't stopped training, if he was training just like his father, that this wouldn't be happening, that he would be strong enough to protect the people he loves, his family, his friends, Piccolo. And it's at this moment Krillin butts in. He's like, no, it's fine being a father. Shut up, Krillin. This isn't about you. This is a huge moment. Everybody's trying to tell him he's done the right thing. But no, I hope that this sticks. And Gohan remembers this moment. And he remembers this in the future. And he will say that I will not let this happen again. I will not be weak again. I hope that happens. I don't look ahead as other people do who review Dragon Ball and are into the super things that are on YouTube. So I don't know if that happens, and I'm not going to until I see it on the visual show. Then I'll go back and read the manga, but that's a different situation. Now, Gohan, being as weak as he is, the skinny piece of crap that he is like skinny. He looked even skinnier in this episode than he did in the movie. Like, Gohan has lost all muscle. That skinny little punk is just... Remember when Gohan used to get mad? He beat the shit out of people. He's too weak to even do that. So Gohan starts to power up to the point where I personally thought he was going to reignite his mystic powers. It was going to be amazing. But then he turns Super Saiyan, and it brings Goku's attention to where he can find some ki, because he's doing instant transmission, but he has to have good amount of ki. I thought it was funny. Let's mention real quick. Vegeta went to grab Goku's hand. And he's like, "Oh no, I ain't doing that shit." He grabs his shoulder when Goku says, "Take my hand." And then that's it. Gohan exhausts all his power, and he looks like a scrawny, pathetic little bitch. Let's face it, little bitch. Greatly disappointing. It's not exactly the same, but this scene reminds me, when I was watching it, it reminded me distinctly of GT. And by that I mean it reminds me of when Goku was fighting a big baddie and the people came and then they're like, "We have to help." And Goku's like, "I can't let you do that. I'm stronger than you. You're not strong enough to do this. Just give me your power." It's not exactly the same thing, but it reminded me of similar situation where Goku's like, "You did what you had to. You led me here. Now let me handle the rest." Didn't like that very much, but if it leads to what I hope it will lead to, then I forgive it. So anyway, Gohan is passed out pretty much. He's still like conscious, but he's pretty much passed out to the point he can't do anything. Krillin gives him a sensu bean, which, in hint, he says something about, I think Gohan says something about, is there enough for everyone? Is there enough left for anyone else? And Krillin's like, "Oh, we always got to keep at least one safe." So hint hint, I think that the ending is going to be the same as it was in the movie. Whatever. I'm not going to go too deep into that in case you want to know more. But at that point, Goku takes Piccolo's body somewhere, And Frieza mentions that he knew the instant transmission technique, which is weird. I didn't know Frieza knew about that technique, or he knew about that planet at all. I didn't know he knew anything about Yardrat, but apparently he does. And I'm questioning, like, if you knew about the instant transmission technique, why didn't you learn it? You would think that an emperor of the world would want to be able to simultaneously travel anywhere in the world to conquer, but I don't know, it's weird. Like, Frieza knows about it, but he didn't do it. He didn't try to learn it or anything. But Goku moves Piccolo's body somewhere with instant transmission. We don't really know where. And then he proceeds to tell Gohan. He proceeds to tell Goten and Trunks to take Piccolo's body to Dende to keep it safe. And he promises earlier that he was going to revive Piccolo with the Namek Dragon Balls, which is weird because this kind of kills off, well, I wouldn't say kill off. This kind of gets rid of Goten and Trunks, making it more like the movie. It pretty much creates the reason why they came here in the first place, to take Piccolo's body away, and now they're gone. They protest, clearly. Jacko tries to escape with them, and Bulma doesn't let him, which he remarks that he is afraid of her more than Frieza. And that's their thing. They take off to go get Piccolo, even though Goku didn't mention where they were. Vegeta does give Trunks a nice little stare down, and Trunks is like, okay, we'll go. Anyway, so then we lead on to, Goku and Ginyu in Tagoma's body, which I gotta say, where's Tagoma Frog? I'm looking for him. I'm not seeing him anywhere. He's just gone. And somebody, I can't remember who at the moment, they mentioned that the soldiers will take on Goku and Vegeta to test their strength. Frieza pretty much says, okay, that's cool. And of course, he didn't expect to see Frieza didn't expect to see Vegeta. Sorry, my words are tripping up. Goku asks how he was revived. This is basically in the movie. I'm not going to go bit tit for tat on that one. They pretty much talk about hell and how Frieza hated it and how Goku says it was his own fault for coming to Earth. He did this to himself, all that fun stuff. Frieza starts to talk about how angry Goku makes him and how he put him through hell. Ginyu goes on to start speaking, and he says, I too understand Frieza. And he starts to tell his life story to the point where he's like, you understand the pain I've been through. Whereas, as he begins his life story, Vegeta's like, I don't give a crap. Once Ginyu drops to the ground, Vegeta literally just shuts him up with this. He's like, well, that's too bad. And he goes up to him and he's like, it's a shame you didn't stay a frog. Then you wouldn't have to die. And he murders him on the spot, which is good. Vegeta should murder Ginyu on the spot, because at this point, if he take any longer than he did, it would make Vegeta look weak. Vegeta looked super powerful here. It was great. Even if it's going to end up like it did in the movie, at least Vegeta gets that little victory. He gets to kill somebody. Goku's like, you didn't have to kill him, and Vegeta, of course, is just like, I don't care. I just want to remove everybody out of the way. And Frieza's impressed. He is impressed. I'm surprised. I'm impressed at how strong you've gotten, is pretty much what he says. Not in that voice, but he is determined on killing Goku, whereas just like in the movie, Goku says he's going to take on Frieza. This time, it's a more fair reason. He's like, well, you got to take on Ginyu, I take on Frieza. Vegeta's like, man, whatever, man, whatever. So Frieza goes on, and he goes on and says, I dilly-dallied last time. This time I'm going to go straight to my final form, technically, whatever you want to put it. And he changes, but this time he changes a lot more impressively than he ever did in the original Namek and in the movie. And this situation, remember those useless soldiers that I mentioned were still floating around doing absolutely nothing? Well, that's taken care of. Frieza powers up, and he powers up to the point where he creates a giant explosion pretty much around him, just murdering all of his soldiers. Sorbet happened to be far enough not to be hit in the crossfires, and he turns into his final form. It was impressive. It was amazing. I quite was impressed. I was like, holy crap, Frieza. That was amazing transformation. If that's his final form transformation, I can't wait to see what his golden transformation looks like. In the movie, his gold transformation consists of him being on that little cliff, and then he creates like his new form and all the rocks fall around him. He's just standing on like a floating pillar. I thought that was really cool. I don't know how they're going to do it this time, but that was an insane first transformation. He leveled the ground. It was amazing, really amazing. So Goku's even impressed at this point. We kind of just go into the movie. Frieza's like, why don't you turn into that golden form that I hate? Or why don't you turn into that golden form? And Goku is, I don't really need to. Which, yeah, I mean, yeah, true. At this point, obviously, he has unlocked the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan ability. So, obviously, we know that already. But Goku hasn't told that to Frieza yet. So, the fight, well, the beginning of the fight starts next episode. I have to say the Resurrection F saga is going fairly quick. They're already going to be transformed. Well, Goku's transforming next episode. I'm only going to be able to guess that Frieza's transforming on episode 25. I'm not sure how long their fight's going to be. I remember Goku and Beerus' fight was pretty long, a lot longer compared to it was in the movie. In my opinion, we got to see more of the Super Saiyan God in action, which I loved. So I'm hoping that we get to see more action here. I hope that Goku still does his 1-inch punch. It was like the coolest thing in the movie. But the next episode is going to be really good. Hopefully it's going to be action-packed. Hopefully we're going to have some flashbacks about them discovering their Super Saiyan God ability. I don't know. It's going to be great. But the next episode is really going to be mainly movie fight. I don't know how they're going to change it, but Vegeta jumps in the middle, tries to attack Goku, saying it's my turn now. I'm sure Frieza's going to say something like, oh, I appreciate you trying to help out, but, I want to take on Goku now. Let me kill him. Because in the actual Japanese subtitles, compared to the English dub of the movie, it doesn't make it seem as obvious, even though it says the same thing pretty much. Frieza pretty much assumes that Vegeta is helping him, and that's kind of what leads to him in the movie offering him a proposal, because he says that your sentiment isn't lost in the English dub, and in the Japanese one he's like, I appreciate your help or whatever, but I want to take on Goku myself, and something like that. So I don't know if that's going to happen again in this episode. But that's a little long for the last episode. So anyway, that's it for the review. I liked it. I hope the next episode is going to be good. I was excited for this episode. Gohan let me down, but the possibilities of him becoming stronger are there. So hopefully that leads somewhere. His determination to save Piccolo, or his failure to save Piccolo, and all the people around him having to depend on his father again. He has to realize at some point, your father's not going to be there. You have to be able to succeed on your own. He has to realize that, and I hope he does. So that's the end of this episode. Next week's going to be great, and peace out.